everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WOC Reader, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another reading vlog. So I'm like horrible at doing reading vlogs because it's like Jess Owen says, sometimes you just want to be ugly in peace, and for me that's a lot, especially during the times when I want to do reading vlogs. I feel like as a black booktuber, I'm so used to people like judging like how I look. I just feel like I gotta do my hair because I don't want to be like looking a hot mess, and I want to have my makeup, which I don't even wear a lot of makeup, but I just like to do it light and cute. And I have oily skin, so sometimes I just be looking really shiny on camera, and that's kind of discouraging when I want to look glowy and dewy instead. But I did want to do a reading vlog to drum up some support for this book. I'm actually reading it earlier than anticipated, and that is The Sevenfold Hunters by Rosie Gall. So it just sounds really unique and interesting, and lately YA has been so redundant and boring and mid that I'm just like tired of some of the stories. Even though they sound super unique, you get to it and like the characters are flat and dry and meh. But this one is like, first of all, alien vampire creatures that they're hunting. Like, how awesome is that? So after witnessing her boyfriend's death at the hands of aliens, Artemis is shocked to find out that aliens, known as the Nusuru, actually exist, and that her boyfriend has been a member of an elite squad of alien hunters at Carlisle Academy. The fancy British school he'd been attending was actually a cutthroat academy operating covertly to rid the world of the Nusuru since the 18th century. Determined to avenge him, Artemis will have to pass Carlisle's rigorous school admissions and take his place as a member of the school's best alien hunting crew, the Sevenfold. Getting admitted to Carlisle is only the first hurdle. Once there, Artemis must prove her worth in order to win over the no-nonsense Sevenfold leader, Abian, from the rest of the grieving team, as well as the school staff, all of whom see how poorly suited Artemis is to alien hunting. As Artemis fails her training at every turn, even she begins to wonder how she got into this school and if she'll ever be able to fight the Nusuru. Together, Artemis, Abian, and the rest of the Sevenfold unravel the mystery of why Artemis was actually admitted into the school, what the Nusuru are doing on Earth, and what Carlisle Academy has been hiding from them all. So like, that is the first like thing that I've read that feels like super unique all year long. And it's like a sci-fantasy type mix, which is totally my jam this year. So I'm hoping to really, really love it. So I'm gonna try the vlogging thing again. Stay tuned if you want to see the mess, and I will check in with you guys soon. So I just finished reading the first chapter of The Sevenfold Hunters, and it was really good so far. Like I said, I've been looking for something with a little more character voice, and right off the bat I could tell that Artemis is going to be an interesting character. We open with her getting accepted into the school, and her mom is upset about her acceptance. She's like, my spirit never took with that school. And I'm like, why is her mom my mom? If you know, you know. And then he's like, Artemis is just like, well, I'm going anyway. And her dad's like fighting for her. It's like, well, it's a really good private school, one of the best in the country. And he's like, everyone's like, fine, you can go. And if you don't want to hear, you'll feel. Again, why is this my mom? So far it has a good pace. I'm really interested in seeing where this is going because they just kind of set it up right off the bat and aren't dragging it out, which I appreciate. And they drop a little bit of the lore in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Hi guys, so I just wanted to give you an update on The Sevenfold Hunters, and I'm only on chapter 7, but so far I'm in, and I'm really liking it because so far it's very easy to read. There's not too much info dump right off the bat, which sometimes can really hinder a sci-fantasy story like this. There's not too much, it's not like wordy or anything. I appreciate that the teens actually feel like real teens, even though they're doing stuff that real teens don't do, hunting aliens. I like that they all have their own distinct personalities, and I like that she did just dual POV instead of trying to fit multi POVs like some authors might try to do in this story. That way we're getting the two perspectives we need. One of a newbie recruit and one of somebody who's been with the Sevenfold and training for a while. So you also see how Abian and Artemis, who are like our two POV characters, are both going through grief and loss. And they're both grieving Jared. Artemis because that was her boyfriend, and Abian because that was her best friend and teammate. So they're both trying to fill that void of losing him, and it's really, really difficult to move on and start this new school semester. But they're going through it, so I'm really looking forward to see how they connect in that aspect. And I'm gonna try and read more of it tonight, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning. Hey y'all, so I'm just back with an update for the Sevenfold Hunters, and I read up to chapter 11 so far. There is 47 chapters, so I have a long way to go still. I'm gonna spend tonight, probably until the early morning hours, reading. It's a little harder for me to read because I've been training myself to read more physical books again, which reduces my screen time, but then I can't lay down and read like I like to do. It forces me to like sit up, but physically reading does make me pay a little bit more attention to these stories, and I am really enjoying how this story is unfolding so far. So right now, at the point where we're at, Artemis is like kind of trying to get into a routine at the school because the school year did just start, and she is finding training difficult. She is trying to get used to the Sevenfold because she came in taking her ex Jared's, like, well, not ex, like he died. She came in taking his spot, and they're really like, girl, do you know him at all? Because the stuff she's saying like about him was not this stuff that she thought she knew. Like, for example, they met at a coffee shop, and everybody's just like, girl, he never drank coffee around here. Like, he wouldn't even let us drink coffee because he said he hated coffee so much, just like the smell of it made him sick. So we're finding out that Jared was a little shady. He might have had a couple more girlfriends on campus too. So things are getting really interesting. There's some mysterious stuff going on with Abian that I'm really interested to see where they're going. And you know, she's finding it hard too. She's still battling her grief, but also she just really wants to be on top, and she's finding that to be a struggle this year so far to stay on top. So we'll see where this goes. Hi everyone, I'm just checking in. I don't know how people vlog in their car because it's just so like little space and my phone never stays up. But I just wanted to do a quick update. I am out shopping right now. I finished 54% of the Sevenfold Hunters, and I'm still really intrigued. I connect a little bit more with Abian just because like there's a lot of mystery as to what's going on in her background, but I really like Artemis too. I really like how with the Sevenfold you can actually tell they were friends, because sometimes in these books you can't really, like, they tell you that these people are friends but you don't really see that friendship. Here you kind of see the connection between the different members, and we're finding out some really cool stuff about the aliens. Artemis is finally putting her foot down and telling them, you know, to ease up on her because they're still obviously upset about Jared being replaced, but they don't need to take that out on her. And so I decided to go book shopping, and well, I just was shopping in general, but in the place I had books. So I went to Ollie's and I got this book for a friend, which is animal friends, baby's first book of animals, and she's having a baby later this year, so this will be perfect for her. Then I got this workbook for my cousin's daughter because she needs to do some practicing. So this was only 99 cents at Sesame Street. Letter, sounds, words. It's a good activity book for her. And then I got like one last book. This one I'm going to give to my aunt because her son is having a baby at the end of the year. She can keep this at her house for the baby. It's Grandma's Purse, and it's just a really cute board book. Again, this is by a Black author, and I only paid $2.99 for it, which isn't bad at all because books are expensive. Alright, y'all, so I'm back. I know that I barely checked in with you guys at all during this whole vlog. And okay, so I was really busy, and I was kind of reading this in increments between being extremely busy. So I didn't really have time to like stop too much and film anything. I give you my reactions, and then a lot of time when I was reading it too was like late at night. And once it's late at night, I don't want to film. I'm just too exhausted to do that. So I couldn't really give you my reactions as I was going along. But I did finish the Sevenfold Hunters. And I'm going to say it was a pretty solid debut. So full disclosure, I have read something by this author before, but it was a manuscript for a different book that they're working on. It was not the Sevenfold Hunters. And the one that I read was like an adult fantasy, whereas this is a YA sci-fi. So tonally it was also pretty different. Although there's some stuff in the writing style obviously that's the same. So I kind of knew that I wouldn't have like a miserable time like I was having with some of my other reads this year. So as far as YA sci-fi, I feel like some of the YA sci-fi I've read really leans heavily on romance. So I appreciate this did not lean too heavy on the romance. There are hints of romance, but it's not like overwhelming. They still get down to business and what's important. Also, sometimes they lean a little more fantasy versus sci-fi, and I felt this did a great job including actual science. And the science that it included wasn't like too difficult to understand. Now, one thing I will say I need a little more of was with the fight scenes, because they went on a couple of missions doing this alien hunting stuff, and the missions kind of go by really fast and urgent, so you don't get to like sit in them and really enjoy the fighting. And for this type of book, I want to be able to sit in those fight scenes and really enjoy them. I thought that the characterization was a strong point in this book. Like, I really did feel the connection between the team, even when different people were feuding. Like, you kind of felt the hurt there, and that they had a close relationship. I also liked that they actually felt like actual teens. So a lot of times when we're reading YA, it's reading more for the adult audience, and these kids read like 30 sometimes. They did not read, they read like teens here. They bantered with each other like teens, and it felt very realistic. Now, these are teens in the UK. There's something that US publishers have where they don't think US teens can read and understand teens from the UK, so they don't like authors put a lot of local vernacular and stuff in it, which I would have loved to see more of. It was a little bit sprinkled in, but I know that's like a publisher thing. They don't want too much in there. Just to like remind you that it's like set in the UK, because sometimes it did read like US high school and was easy to forget, and then you would see the references back to UK high school. But that's more like a publishing thinks that diversity should still be within a certain box type of thing. But I thought Like I said, I thought the relationships were pretty good. There were some twists and turns that came in towards the end to kind of set up the plot in book 2, and I was like, ooh, because I wasn't quite expecting a couple of them. So that should be really interesting to explore in the sequel. And overall, this was a pretty solid read. I definitely think if you're looking for something a little different, then check it out. It's a very fast-paced, quick, like shorter read. It's not like the 400 or 500 page is like a lot of the fantasies we've been used to. And I appreciated the unique take on vampires. Like, I'm not going to spoil it here, but I had never seen vampires written like that, so that was really cool. And I wanted to know more about these vampire aliens and their world. So, like I said, overall, I do recommend checking it out. It was a pretty good read. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will check in with you guys soon. Bye now.